Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Sheek Louch, LOXD Block, Silverback. Hey, yo, right now I need to shout out the ISUPK classes.
I want to give a huge, big, humongous shout out to all the UPK schools.
Shout out to Black Watch, hosted by General Johanna. Word, I need y'all to check out Cross the Line Radio as well, man. They've been open all week from 7 to 9. They ain't shut down because of the corona, the COVID and all that. They rockin' strong, you know what I mean?
Think we got a problem, but really it ain't though. It's one of me and these bitches, I count about 3, 4. Think we got a problem, but homie just all talk. He ain't gon' pop a balloon with a pitchfork. Nah, think we got a problem in the club with this dog. Rude boys, dogs, ladies, everybody.
Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome. Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Been out of these streets, nigga trying to eat while I duck police. Own family stealing from me. I'm on the phone being to pray, but white Jesus can't save me. Get him away from me. I don't know what to say. So many niggas hating me. Get him away from me.
Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome. Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my chrome. Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my chrome. Trying to keep it on the true side, nigga. Laying low to play it cool, nah, nigga. Ass niggas on the team, I've been known to get the green ever since I was 2-5, nigga. Coop hanging out the roof, nah, nigga. Cause I ain't stunting on them. Put my whole team on so they ain't wantin'. When niggas doing bad, you know that they be hating on you. Get the hoping that you fall, they be waiting on it. Bullshit get bread from the envy. Best friends get to looking like enemies. When you got it in this bank account empty. Perfect recipe to breed a lot of jealousy. Looking from a bird's eye view. Learn from everything I've been through. Told my baby girl, if you ain't spending life with the nigga, never let him put a dick up in you. Cause if a nigga wrong, I'ma check that shit. And when you paper long, never flex that shit. Told my son, when you getting money, never trick it to a baba, flip it over, then invest that shit. Give a lot of game, trying to bless my kid. Gotta keep it real, that's the best shit. Got hitters up in Philly, back in Texas. When I get up on the track, yeah, I wreck shit.
Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome. Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding strap on my chrome.
Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my chrome. Always sip on my own, don't need you all in my zone. Spend so much time alone while I'm riding around with my chrome.
Get down here to class, 1232 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware.
Shalom, Lord of Christ to my brothers and sisters, man. Y'all need to come down to 1232 North King Street where the truth resides, man. ISUPK, Delaware. We definitely represent and doing some big things.
202 North DuPont Boulevard in Smyrna, Delaware.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Come and be a part of this rising thing that we got going on here in Delaware.
I hear everybody claiming that they love the Lord and love God and all that. Well, get in here and show it. You know what I mean? The scriptures say faith without works is dead. So if you ain't doing nothing, your faith is dead. So get up and do something. What you need to do is get your ass up and get in the class. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't doing nothing else. You're sitting home wasting time. wasting time. Everything is going on around you, and you don't know how to compartmentalize these things. You understand? I'm on my way to class right now, like you should be. You know what I'm saying? Class don't stop for nothing.
All right, Shalom, Lord in Christ. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohana. And we have been called to teach the so-called Black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American people that we are this lost sheep of the house of Israel. Tonight's class is the law class. And you can see there's a lot going on right now. What's one of the things that you've seen going on in the news lately? There was the sister that was deleted by a racist cop. Damn right. So that's one of the things that I wasn't going to go too far into depth with tonight. But we definitely should touch on it because right now, in this world that we live in, there's a lot of people that are dying before their time. There's a lot of people who aren't here because of they're dying before their time. We personally know people that died before their time, even people that we met recently after coming into the truth. And one of the things I want to say, if you meet one of these brothers in ISUPK and they tell you, not to go against the Lord, follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and to curb, the evil that you're doing in the sight of the Most High, you should do your absolute damnedest to listen, because there's other things that you accomplish in the world. You'll do everything in your power, for things that mean nothing and don't matter. You'll do everything in your power to make sure you have enough money, for that pack of cigarettes. You'll make sure you do everything in your power, to have that, your favorite drink, that 6-pack. You'll do everything in your power to celebrate these holidays, that actually go against the Most High. But do everything in your power not to sin against the Most High. That way you don't die in your sin, and you can, have your election secured. That's right. But if I could, with everything going on, can I get Proverbs 6:1? And while we're doing that, we should know that the oppressor is definitely the devil that the Bible speaks of, because we saw in recent news, her name was Sonya Massey, right? That was her name. And, this sister, amongst a lot of others that don't get shown, on the news, her life, was taken far beyond its time. I'm not sure what the sister's history was. I'm not sure what her mental state was, but from, that short video that I could see, when she was unalive, not only did she not deserve it, but there was no empathy, right, or there was no, any type of compassion, from the devil that took her life. And when brothers and sisters around the world, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are, complaining, not even complaining, but they're bringing to light, what they're going through. This devil does not listen to us. They're like a snake that is venomous, and they don't even hear us. And we brought this up last week. I'm gonna go ahead and read something from that. I believe it's in Psalms. Let me see. I believe it's in Psalms 58:4. Now, let me make sure this is the KJV version. Psalms 58:4. So I'll go there first, because what happened to the sister is ridiculous. And in the ISUPK, we have, practical knowledge, but we're also in the spirit. And we know that we can never trust our enemies. Number one, the police officers didn't have to be in her house. She made the call, but she wasn't under the suspicion of a crime, so they didn't have to come in her house. They didn't have to ID her. They didn't have to do any of that. And they started, treating her very rudely and questioning her before any of that even transpired. There's videos that are going out, and you can see where she puts her hands up, and she didn't actually have anything in her hands. And it seems like that officer had the intent to unalive her the entire time. And when we bring these things out, they'll call us the 13%. This devil has had a perpetual hatred for us. And if you read the scriptures, you'll clearly see exactly how Esau, Edom, the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks of, has treated us for thousands of years. Through their jealousy, through their hatred, through their ignorance, they've done stuff like this to us, but it's not always caught on camera. From what I'm hearing, that officer's body cam wasn't even on. But I don't even know if I can believe that, because from what I'm seeing it looks like two different camera angles. Democrats and Republicans, and I'm gonna get to the verse in a second, but Democrats and Republicans will use certain things to their advantage, not to help us out. Like showing a video on all these different news stations that are supported by Democrats, that doesn't help us, or they're not trying to make us aware. They're trying to rile us up and make it look like if Donald Trump gets in office, that more of this will happen. They'll try to make it look like Kamala Harris or Joe Biden can be our savior, when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris cannot be our savior. But I'm gonna go, I'll digress right there, and I'll go ahead and read that. And this is in Psalms, what did I say, 58 and 4? We go ahead and get that. Salaki, one more. All right, so Psalms 58 and 4. All right, so I'll start at actual 3. So this is describing the oppressor that we live with, because when that officer, that devil, he killed our Salaki, when he unalived, Sonia Massey, he lied about it. Mm-hmm. He lied and said that she came at him. He called her a bitch and everything. And that sister was nothing but meek and humble when they were in there. And she seemed a little distressed. And he had the nerve to do that, just because she simply said she will rebuke him in the name of Jesus. This is Psalms 58 and verse 3. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse 2.
So you want to read it?
Khan, if you could.
Khan. This is Psalms 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
So these type of people are estranged from the womb, and these aren't my words. These are the words that are in Psalms. This is the inspired word of God, the Most High God. And he's saying that these people that we speaking about that would do something like this oppressor that has had us in slavery, bondage, mental anguish for all this time, they are estranged from the womb. Continue.
Come. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies.
They have been speaking lies about us, against us for years. For all this time, you can even go on social media and see stuff like them calling us the 13%, which means they're calling us the 13%, and then they're saying we commit over 50% of the violent crimes, which is not true. What's actually going on is our 13% makes up a lot of the, or makes up like 35% of the arrests. But then a lot of those are exonerated, or we're arrested and then it doesn't even go to trial because everything is dismissed. We're disproportionately arrested. We're not disproportionately criminals, because if you go into a city that has a lot of violence, you'll find it is a small group of individuals that are terrorizing that neighborhood. And it's not every single Black person in that neighborhood that's doing it. A lot of brothers and sisters in that neighborhood, whether they act tough or not, they're actually victims of circumstance. And it has nothing to do with them being 13% of the population and committing over 50% of the crimes. That's another way the devil lies against us. Continue.
Verse 4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent.
Us living around them is absolutely poisonous. And I know ISUPK, we talk about this time and time again, but brothers and sisters, we trying to wake you up. Because here in this school, we know not to trust our enemies. We know that this oppressor is poisonous for us. They poison our food. They poison our water. And I can say these things without even having to bring up examples, because we all know what's happening around us. But I'll bring up examples. Flint, Michigan, there was lead in the water that far exceeded any standard where water is supposed to be, with lead in it. And it caused, young children to have brain damage. Do you know at a certain level of exposure to lead that it can cause adverse reactions to your mind to where you're not even really able to control your emotions as you normally would be able to? Also, the food that they're giving to us. A Black Hispanic and so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, levels as far as blood pressure, blood sugar, should be under the level of many other peoples and many other nations, because our levels, I'll break it down like this to make it more simple. A Caucasian's levels of blood pressure and blood sugar can be high at a level of like highness and it not affect. But if you put ours around or close to those same levels, it can actually kill us. Scientists know this. They know that there's not a one-stop shop approach to health in this country, but yet and still, the FDA and every other food agency in this country has Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans eating garbage, and they make it cheap for us to eat, and they don't even tell us about the effects. Continue.
Come on. They are like the death adder that stoppeth her ear.
It's like a snake that is literally striking you, and you're asking it to stop, and you're asking it to have compassion. That woman, that dear sister, she apologized for what she said out of fear of what that officer was going to do. She even ducked down, and he lied, like the scripture said, and said she came at me, called her a crazy bitch and everything. And they wonder why we say that the United States is a racist country. They wonder why we say all these things, but they don't want to hear it. They stop their ears. They'll mess around, poison us. They'll mess around, strike us, and then say, oh, this country is not racist. Kamala Harris had the nerve to say that. But Black people are going to vote for Kamala Harris because they are afraid of Donald Trump. Let me see. Continue, verse 5.
Come. Verse 5. Which will not hearken to the voice of charmers.
That woman tried to charm that officer. That beautiful sister tried to charm that disgusting devil and say, I'm sorry, and dug down and try to get out of the range of fire, but he still went and got her and took her life, and then had the nerve to chuckle about it and say she was a crazy B word and take her life. It would have been better, and I'll in no way, shape, or form blame the sister, especially like the disgusting bastards that are placating like charmers to this devil. I saw a brother on social media saying that the shooting was justified. A black man who's always, bigging up Trump. Mm-hmm. This disgusting bastard had nerves to say that it was justified. Yeah. And that's only because, like the scriptures say, ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. And I'm paraphrasing if I mess that up. But that type of person is not something that we should have around us in that condition, that slave-minded condition that he has. That's a house nigga right there. That's somebody who will say anything for clout and anything for the approval of his oppressor, because he has Stockholm syndrome. He is a coon. And for this sister to, be taken away in such a manner, for him to have the balls to say something like that, I don't even want to say what comes to mind, what should happen to people that think like him and people that would do things like that to that sister. Because I would rather have it that if a sister does hear a noise around her house, she has a man inside that house to protect her, that she wouldn't have to call our oppressor, who has pretty much tortured us for 400 years, comes to the rescue, all to end up unalive. She called them for help. How does the very person that you call to help you end up doing worse than what the person you thought was outside of your house is going to do? I forgot who said it, and I don't know where this came from, but it says, shall my oppressor be my savior? Like, how can somebody who has the heart and the mind of a devil be your savior when they've oppressed you and been a devil to you for so many years? My heart goes out to that family that happened to, because that sister definitely didn't deserve it. And, I pray the Lord brings swift justice to what happened to that sister. If I could we Proverbs 6:6, because what we should do with these times that we have around us, whether Trump or Kamala Harris gets in office, we should understand that we're in dire straits. And unless we repent and do what we're supposed to do Unless we start gathering ourselves together, like Zephaniah 2:1 says, unless we start preparing and know that we shouldn't have hope in this country, which is spiritually Egypt, we are going to fail miserably. And I pray there's not a point in time where you finally hear these words that ISUPK has been saying since 1969, and then you fail to find us when you need us, because we right here for you now. Commanding General Yohana gave us an order, the same order that Christ gave us, to feed the sheep, to tell you the truth, to show, our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, their transgressions, to be there for you, not only in words, but also in clothing and food and in comfort. And I pray that through all of, the strife that brothers and sisters have for us, that they can finally come to grips that we have been telling you the truth for, plus 30, 40 years. Right. And don't be such a sluggard and a slob to where you don't prepare yourself for what's coming. Because if a hurricane is coming and the Lord gives you the wisdom to move in a manner which you should move, and you do, you could save your life. But if that hurricane is coming and you decide to try to stay in at home, you can end up unalive. But let's go ahead and read Proverbs 6, and what did I say, verse 6?
Okay. This is Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise.
So we should be wise. It's not saying actually go to an ant, because I know a lot of people can be simple-minded. It's not saying go to the ant and inquire actually with words of what we should be doing. What it's actually saying is look at how the ant is moving. Look at what they're doing. Find inspiration from what this small, perceivably mindless creature is able to do, more so than what you're doing for your own self. Continue.
Okay. Verse 7. Which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provided her meat in the summer, and gathered her food in the harvest.
That harvest is coming because that ant is trying to make sure that they are prepared. And they do it mindlessly. They do it like a drone, like a machine, and they just go. You know how many times I've tried to stop an ant from coming into my house in search of food, in search of something to bring back to that nest? Because when winter comes, they're not coming up out of their anthill or whatever it's called, those caverns. They're not coming out of there in the winter. Don't get caught in the winter to where you don't have food, you don't have clothing, to where you've relied on this place so much, when it shuts down, you have nothing to look upon. You have nothing there for you, to where you may not even be able to find us. Microsoft went down for a while as far as like the system working properly, and it had people and businesses in an uproar. I'm not sure, brothers, I'm not here to put your mind in a state of fear, because the scriptures say do not have a spirit of fear, but we should be prepared, like the scriptures are saying. You familiar with an EMP is? Right. So for those of you who don't know, an EMP is an electromagnetic pulse, and that can disrupt electronics. There's also things that people within intelligence agencies that are going against that are going against this country, that they can do to make the internet stop working properly. That our emergency systems might not work, to where our water might not work. And God forbid, if you're in a situation where an EMP hits and you're not prepared, that means no power. That means your car may not work, because there's certain mechanisms that will be disrupted by it. If you're not prepared for things like that, and you don't have a network of people like the ISUPK to go to, God forbid if you go to the same devils that unalived, Sanya Massey. Yeah. When there's nobody to record it, when there's no news station to show what's happening out here, what type of things do you think that this devil is going to do when they become emboldened and they see you as the problem? Because the Democrats have made you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, the face of everything abominable and disgusting. When they put us as the face of homosexuality, when they put us as the face of robbery, that's what the Republicans will do. On one hand, you'll have the homosexuality being pushed off on us by the Democrats, and on the other hand, you'll have crime and unalivings pushed on us. People outside of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans really do attribute that to us. There was a Hamite, an African, and I saw a video of him saying when they asked him what he thought of African Americans, he associated us with homosexuality. He said he was like, I thought they were all gay and rich. Yes, I've never heard anything like that, but the way we're portrayed is going to be to our detriment. And when we have people that would sell us up the river, like Sexy Red, like Kevin Gates, like Pooh Shiesty, people that represent something that we're not, like Lil Nas X representing homosexuality, it makes us all in the bad light to where they can go, see, I knew all of them were like that. But when Dylan Roof goes to a church, I don't see Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans outside of the ISUPK saying, see, I knew they were all like that. But we get that put on us. Exactly. We need to be prepared because, like I said, we don't want to have to call the devil to come help us when we're in hell. That would be ridiculous. Ain't that ridiculous to do? To be in hell and then call the devil to come help you? The devil being the oppressor that the Bible speaks of? Let's continue. And I'm going to check the comments real quick while you read that.
Verse 9. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard?
How long will we stay sleeping, not prepared, to where we think we can just roll out of bed and just get right on our phones? That is so childlike. That's the first thing my son does when he gets up. My son loves to play video games and watch movies so much. I have to constantly, and he's a child. He's a 9-year-old boy. So I got to constantly tell him, boy, brush your teeth, prepare for the day, wash your face, take a shower, get something to eat. You want breakfast right now? I'm not hungry. Yeah, he's hungry. But he doesn't want to prepare for the day. He just wants to sleep and be asleep rather to what has to go on during the day. He can't just hop on the video games. You can't, as an adult, you can't just hop on the video games.
Right.
We can't just keep living check to check. We got to have something in store and build something, even if it's some canned goods on the side to survive for 3-4 months if something goes wrong with this system, because the 911 system is going off in certain states. They stopped certain people in cities, for what was it? I don't know how many hours it was, but government assistance wasn't working. Now you see Microsoft went down globally. Brothers and sisters, it's time to prepare for when this devil finally shows his true colors. And they've been showing us this whole time. You just not believing it. Do what the scriptures say and have yourself prepared. I know how to get to my brother over here if something's going on. I know how to get to him. I know how to get there. We have systems in play, and we're working on more things to make sure that we're good. We're not just going to sit here and starve, especially when the scriptures say, don't be like the grasshopper, be like the ant, in the manner of bringing stuff in and storing it up and being ready. I pray you take what I'm saying, because I don't see your pastors or your imams telling you any of this stuff. And yeah, we're telling you, but they should have told you this whole time, but they'll let you believe you can call 911 and everything and be okay. And you won't even look at the devil sideways when they walk into your house and they're asking you for ID, like you're a criminal when you're the one that called them. Let's continue to read, please.
When thou arise out of thy sleep, yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth.
If you keep staying asleep, you are going to be impoverished beyond your imagination. There's been times when I was young and, in college, and I had to eat top ramen and literally, couldn't afford a lot of different things. That is, or even if your power gets cut out during the fall, during the summer, even if your stove stops working, that's nothing compared to what's coming. There's a lot of people in New York that are on eviction lists right now. And this devil is just waiting to go ahead and cut the lights out for them. You need to get it together. We have relied on this place for so long. But if something was to happen to all the grocery stores around this country, how would you eat? And some people may think that's That's not ever going to happen. Why do you think that's never going to happen? How many kingdoms have fallen before the United States was ever even thought of? Where people had to go somewhere else, where people had to be able to do something else. And those people had skills as far as how to live in the wilderness because they were right next to it. They had to kindle fires. They didn't have a microwave. They didn't have a stove. They didn't have air fryers. All these modern conventions that we have made us so soft to where you don't know how to start a fire without a lighter. You don't know how to go anywhere and come back with food if it's not a grocery store. Like now, there's so many modern conventions, and this society has made us so soft that we can just walk in the store and pretty much take what we want and leave unharmed. The police would have to actually be there because the workers aren't going to stop you. When everything in the store goes bad and those stores are no longer available and there's nothing you can look forward to, what are you going to do? I would like to know, what are you going to do? Because with World War III on the rise, there's also natural disasters, but have you prepared? We're in a position now where we're under oppressor because we broke we've continued to break the covenants that our forefathers were put under and that they agreed to. And here we are in modern times as that clock ticks and ticks and ticks, right? What have you prepared? If something happens tomorrow, are you prepared? Do you have anything for yourself? Let's continue to read.
Concept. Second part of 11. And they want as an armed man. Verse 12. A naughty person.
Oh, Salaki, can we read that one more time?
Concept. Verse 11. So shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and they want as an armed man.
And I want as an armed man. It's going to come to a point to where people are like, I don't know if people ever see these apocalyptic movies or shows, whether it be The Walking Dead, whether it be something to the effect of Children of Men, but that's not even going to highlight all the stuff that we'll have to go through. When the Jews, the Israelites, were taken over by Rome and the city was destroyed and they were chased up into the mountains, or other times where they were in poverty and chased out, it got so bad people ate their children. Yeah. It got so bad people ate their leather belts, robbed and pillaged for anything they could have. With the compassionless hearts we have now, what type of things do you think is going to be happening? We can move on now. And I pray you would be more like the ant than the grasshopper. Let's get Matthew 16, 1 through 4. Because a lot of us, we're able to make, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we make predictions on sports. We make predictions on people's behaviors, plots in movies, but we can't even see what's coming right in front of us. We can't even see that no matter who gets in office, that we got some turbulent times ahead of us. But yet and still, you can see other things. You can predict other things that's going around you. And it's like when I say Matthew 16 and 1, if I can get it.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 1. The Pharisees, along with the Sadducees, came and tempting, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven.
So they're asking for a sign. So sometimes when I talk to people, and I got friends that are in the world and they don't believe, they'll say things like, when, prove it, this, that, and the fourth. As if not to even go in the scriptures and try to find and seek out. They'll just hearsay. They won't even say, well, did any of these prophecies actually come to pass? And I'll tell them by word of mouth, yeah, this happened, this happened, this happened. But when I say, look, man, World War III is on the rise, and maybe you should get yourself right with God, and you should inquire and find out what you actually should be doing instead of just sitting around on your behind playing video games and drinking IPAs all day. Maybe you should do that instead of trusting in this system. Well, when is it going to happen? You want a sign like the Pharisees did when they were speaking to Christ, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. And what verse is that? Verse 1?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if we can get that again from the top, Salaki, I will come.
The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven.
That wicked people need a sign. And I ain't gonna say just wicked people, but that's a lot of the time we need a sign. People want a religious experience. They want something emotional. They can't just listen to what the scriptures say or even be logical. One of the things I notice is easily, because of our school system and how we were brought up, it's easily to just override people's, critical thinking nowadays. Yeah. Because I'll see certain stuff like on social media. Here's just an example. Like I'll see something where, I can clearly see somebody has an agenda, whether it's like an attorney who's like an ambulance chaser, or it's a big company that just wants to have, that reign over everybody when it comes to buying gas. Because now electric vehicles, they start to take off. So I see a lot of, bad stuff about electric vehicles from like the news. And when you look at the news and you see certain stuff like that, you'll be like, oh, damn, like electrical vehicles are out here catching on fire all over the place. But if you actually have a logical thought, and you say, well, let me do some quick research, you'll see that gas-powered vehicles and gas combo electric vehicles, which are hybrids, those actually catch fire more. But just the sheer fact that the news puts it up and shows you that without giving you the numbers, right, just like they do with us. They'll put us on the news and have our face and our mugshot for crimes when a lot of the crimes out here being committed by Caucasians, absolutely, Arabs, and people and Asians, people from other nations. But like I said, those Republicans will make us the face of crime. But needless to say, if we just do our own research, if we critically think and be logical and practical around what's around us, we'll finally start to see the big picture. And there's a lot of spirituality that can come from that. Because some brothers can't just read the scriptures and be spiritual about it. They need something that they can see and be tangible. And at least that way, maybe you can be spiritual. But there was some devils on, and I'll get right back to the lesson, but there were some devils that were on social media, and I seen this post. And I see a lot of different posts, but the one that comes to mind is the electric cars, because I like electric cars, but I also like gas-powered cars too. So I'm not, on a side. That's why it's so easy to be, impartial to it. But the devil was on there talking about how, electric cars are heavy, they got a lower center of gravity, they're flying through guardrails. And then people got in an uproar, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. They should do something about this. So I simply put, well, what about the other vehicles that existed that are 10 times heavier that go through guardrails all the time, that pre-existed electric cars? What about dump trucks? An electric car can weigh what? 2 to 6 tons, but a dump truck full can weigh like 36 tons. Yeah. That thing's flying through a guardrail. 18 wheels are flying through concrete. But because of how simple-minded people can be, because this devil is just so crafty, they'll override your critical thinking and the good sense that you could have and wisdom that you could have, you don't have. And they're so easily able to trick you. You're able to see everything that doesn't matter, but you can't see the things that actually do matter. You can't see that you are literally living paycheck to paycheck, and no matter who you vote for, the price of bread is going up. The price of milk, eggs, gasoline is going up. But yet and still, you want a sign. You want a symbol of hope. Instead of actually looking in the scriptures and having true hope and having true protection, you'll continue to rely on the devil. You'll continue to ask, a preacher for a sign so you can be emotional at church and cry and run around and sweat your weave off. That's not going to help you. When this devil comes for you, that's not going to help you. When they cut the lights off and get power off, that's not going to help you. A sign, that's not going to help you. But let's continue. We can start again from the top. Common concept.
Matthew 16 and verse 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red.
back then they didn't have a meteorologist. They were able to look and know if rain was coming. They would know if it would be fair weather. They would know different things because they're living in the environment. They're not so far removed with technology that they can't see it coming. But continue.
Come on. Verse 3. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times?
You can't see what's going on around you when it's right in your face. You can't see no matter who gets elected, Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are going to be hated. During the time of the Democrats, they deported our Hispanic brothers and sisters, even those of us who had fought in the military. And were told that after they fought for the United States, that they would be granted citizenship. That's what the Democrats did. The Democrats, they called Barack Obama the deporter in chief. The deporter in chief. He deported so many people, it rivaled anybody who had been in office before him or after him. How many people he deported? And they will make Mexicans the face of illegal immigrants when you have so many illegal immigrants that are outside of Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans. It doesn't even make any sense. Speaking of electric cars, I believe Elon Musk and his brother were talking about how their parents and them were illegal immigrants. And here he is today able to build an empire. After his parents were in South Africa with the rest of the oppressors terrorizing them, they get to come over here and be illegal immigrants and not be made the face of it. But Hispanics get to be the face of it, even though the country was stolen from them in the first place. That's something that only a deceitful devil could make you feel like people who you stole the country from don't belong here. And even after they fight for the country, for you not to give them a place here, and then still make them look bad. That's a damn good trick right there. That is major league devilish activity. I don't know what group of people on earth other than the rulers of this earth that could do something like that. Let's get that verse. Matter of fact, we can go down.
Follow constant. Verse 4. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it.
He's not going to give you the type of sign that you want. The type of sign that you want, he's about to describe, and it already came to pass. That's the sign that already happened. Continue.
But the sign of the prophet Jonas, and he left them.
No, we can stop right there. The sign of the prophet Jonas. Let me get the, let me see. I believe it's in Matthew 12 and 38. So we can understand what that means. Because the sign was already given. It's the what you're looking for is actually already in the scriptures. But I think brothers and sisters just want to see short legs grow out of it.
Elijah shoot fire from the sky.
Yeah, you want to see a brother float, speak in tongues. You want to see a man walk up and put his hand on somebody's head and green vomit fly to somebody's mouth. You want to see somebody's head spinning and somebody hold up a cross. And then, air moves around the room and curtains start flying around and windows start shutting. That's not the type of sign you're going to get. The type of sign you're going to get is one on your door that says eviction notice. And then it's going to be 20 below outside. And you're going to have nobody to call because you didn't see the sign at the times. But you was able to make those picks for how many points LeBron James' son was going to score. You was able to do that at least. You was able to do that. And you spent that money on weed and gummy bears that were infused with marijuana. And now you got that eviction notice. And now you out in the cold and was calling us Power Rangers on the streets when we was trying to warn you. Good night. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when I was growing up, I used to hear things like seeing is believing.
Right.
And people needed to visually see the miracles and the disasters that God would create.
Right.
But even back then, they still didn't believe God because the Israelites, they
damn right.
They seen the 10 plagues on Egypt. But they still decided to not.
Damn right.
God, and especially I always think about when God was talking to them directly. You know what I mean? And they said, "Oh, this is too much." They said, "Just talk to Moses for us." You know what I mean? That's what I was saying.
Damn right. Even after seeing the 10 plagues, like you said, even after seeing the Red Sea get parted, they talking about going back. They are talking about going back. And I know there's those of us that are Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that are top flight coons that are going to do the same thing when this place is starting to burn. They're going to want to go back. You're going to want to just indulge in the same things that you always indulged in. And what is this country giving you besides heartache and pain and just bad television on TV to continue in a way that's away from the Lord? What's popular right now? I haven't watched it in a while. Stuff like Love and Hip Hop. All the stuff to show you how to just disrespect yourself and the Lord is on TV, and they show you. You can't even speak out against certain things like homosexuality because they'll say you're a homophobic. Are the scriptures homophobic? Is God homophobic? Is that even a real term? Homophobic? Because everything else is a phobia of something. Hydrophobic. That deals with water. Some people are actually scared of water. Some materials don't absorb water. Hydrophobic. Arachnophobia, you're deathly afraid of spiders to where if one crawled in your car, you would go off the road. But disagreeing with somebody's lifestyle because you know it's morally wrong, because the scriptures say so and God decides what's right and wrong, you will put a term on somebody like that? Come on now. Well, what's another term? I forgot the other term, xenophobic. What is that? You know what? To hell with them dumbass. Salaki, to hell with them terms, because what we should do is do what the Lord says, because we'd be a lot better off. We wouldn't have people coming in our house and unalive us if that are supposed to be protecting us if we listen to the Lord. So, go ahead, sir.
Since you're talking about fear, the Bible says fear the Lord. And that's the only fear I got.
Damn right.
I mean, I don't know about like this, like what everybody else says. You know what I mean? You say arachnophobia.
Yeah, arachnophobia. There's a whole bunch of phobias. I'm not even gonna repeat what my son asked Alexa, because I thought he was telling me a joke, but she said what he said. Man, no, you know what? I ain't trying to get us struck down, but it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, they have all these phobias out here. But Salaki, yeah, Matthew 12 and 38, and that was a damn heavy point that you brought up. The water, appreciate it.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 38. Then certain of the scribes and the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it.
You're not getting no damn sign. The sign was already given. The miracles that you're seeing is Black people getting off drugs, and there might be some of us who do see certain signs of miracles. But as a whole, it wouldn't even change you because of the signs that we saw in Egypt, and we were still disobedient. The Lord thy God brought us out of Egypt, and they decide to make a golden calf and say, this is what brought us out of Egypt. Something that they made with their hands. You Black people are still out there believing in Malachi York. Yeah, Black people are still out there believing in Malachi York. And it's disheartening to see how foolish and stupid you can be. Just like when I see certain posts and you're so easily being able to be tricked, they put fake stuff with aliens on the internet, and Black people are up in an uproar. They're talking about the Anunnaki, or you got people thinking that they can find peace in Buddha, and you see them making hand signs and sitting Indian style on the floor. Somebody can just easily come in your house and unalive you. Buddha is not going to help you. There's no little green men that's going to come and civilize this earth and help you out. You think the earth is flat, and that's what you put your stock in, that Antarctica is surrounding us? Come on, man. How is that going to help put food on your table when the prices go up so high that even your check-to-check job that you had is not going to help you, and you can no longer make the rent? You see rent keeps going up, but the pay is not keeping up with it. Right. Black people, we got to get our heads in the game. Let's continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. Something came to my mind when we with this verse about, you know what I mean, people asking for a sign. It reminds me like people that ask for a sign for them to follow you isn't really with you because they don't really believe in you. You know what I mean? Like they don't want you when you down and have nothing. It reminds me like you ever listen to like a brother or sister talk online or just in general, and the brother be like, listen, you gotta believe in me when I don't have nothing before I make it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Damn right.
So this is kind of so I was comparing that scenario to this right here. You know what I mean? Because as a man, you want a woman to like, listen, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it happen. Just sit back and relax and trust.
Right.
I mean, so that's how we should be with the Most High.
Damn right. Because if you had a sign, or let's use your example, if the person already has money, you don't have to believe in them. You don't have to have it. They already got the money. You see it. It's right there. Mm-hmm. Having the faith is the object or what you're having faith in or hoping for is not there yet, but you know it's coming. Exactly. That's the type, just like I said, that's the type of faith we should have in the Most High. We shouldn't be just searching for a sign. We should be doing what the Lord tells us. Mm-hmm. I can see signs every day of what's going to happen, just by the small things that I see every day. When you start to be in the truth and then you start to wake up and you're not just so far deep into everything that the devil is presenting to you, and those blinders come off, you can see what's around, and you'll start to notice like, damn, things are about to get bad. Like, damn, like I finally understand why brothers and sisters are going through what they're going through, because this devil designed it that way. And you think that you're going to vote to change what rich people are going to do? Nah, man. Joe Biden definitely wasn't running the country. He don't even remember who certain people are. He can't even stop his son from bringing crack into the White House. And you think that he was the one actually running the country? Nah, what that is just the country is the way it's going to go. It's the machine that eats up and runs off of Black people's oppression. And it's just going to keep going like that and going like that until there's nothing left of us if the Lord does not come soon. But let's continue to read.
Verse 40. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
When Christ died and rose again, that's the sign that we had. That's the sign that we should know that we should be following Christ. That's the sign we know that we should be following the laws, the statutes, and commandments. The type of sign that you're looking for, what do you want? God to write it in the clouds? What do you want? Spaceships to form letters and spell it out for you that way? Do you want the devil to actually, in unison say, when we get the chance, we gonna run over you as best as we can and pray there's none left? I see them start to gather themselves and oppressors. I see them gathering themselves on corners now, and just being as racist as they can be. I saw a video of some like 3 young boys walking past, black kids, and you could tell these young brothers was from the projects by the way they responded. They had heart, and these devils was calling them niggers, nigglets, where's your father, this, that, and the fourth. The boys weren't even saying nothing. They were just walking past minding their business. The boys couldn't have been no more than 11 years old. And this oppressor showed they tell. You need all of them to do that. You can't just go off what the scriptures say. What enemies was it that the Most High was talking about we would serve? This oppressor that we're under now. We went into ships and we served our enemies, this oppressor. It called them enemies. And it said, never trust your enemy, but you trust them with your life. Let's go ahead and move on to, let me see. Let's go to Genesis 7:21. Because I just want to highlight real quick with these like 4 verses. I'm ready. Because the way we were on earth in the days of Noah, it made the Lord destroy the earth, and it's going to happen again. First it was with water, then it's with fire. But the way we were, it was terrible. We're doing it now. But let's go ahead and read Genesis 7 and verse 21.
Genesis 7 and 21. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth.
So this is talking about when the flood hit. You got everybody doing everything they want to do, and they'll do it until the day's end. When the Most High sends Christ and those 200 million angels, people are going to be on the earth like nothing's happening. It's going to be wars going on. It's going to be famines. People are still going to be trying to find a way to get high and have fun instead of trusting in the Lord. Continue.
Both of fowl and of cattle and of beast and of every creeping thing.
That Salakia, that means birds. That means cows, deer, like birds. That means things that could fly and be above the waters. Eventually got tired, had to land and drown.
Yeah.
That means all flesh that was on earth besides Noah, God said, you and his family, God said, you know what? It's curtains. Y'all kept it up long enough. Continue.
And every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man.
Every single man. Continue.
22. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land died.
If you breathe water, breathe water. Because I thought of fish, I was like, they ain't know. But if you breathed air, if you drew breath in your nostrils, a bird, an insect, a mammal, a reptile, you are unalived in this time. Just like what's coming, but we'll get to that. Continue.
Sir. And the waters prevailed, and verse 23, and every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days.
So when you think of ISUPK and what we're trying to build here, you got to think of this as the ark. You got to think that figuratively a flood is coming, and that we're trying to tell you, like, come with us, because Noah, didn't he warn people?
Absolutely.
They didn't believe, and they had ample time. I don't know how long it took Noah to build the ark, but it took years. So he warned them, and he warned them, and he warned them. And then one day, rain fell from the sky, because as I understand it, the dew from the earth in the morning is what watered the earth, not rain. Rain was something that was just new. So when he's trying to tell them, like, look, this is what's going to happen. Y'all need to do this. And it's almost like when I'm trying to warn my family, or when I try to tell a brother, like, look, man, like, you got to stop doing this. Like, don't take mushrooms. Don't do drugs. Don't put embalming fluid in your weed. Don't keep sleeping with another man's wife, because the Most High is going to catch you slipping. And I'm telling you, so your blood is not on my hands if you die in your sin. God forbid, it's going to break my heart, but I got to be right with the Most High. So I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. And even though it's going to hurt for me to see you, die in your sins, at least you were given and afforded a chance. Right? Everything that Moses told everybody, they disregarded. And then one day it rained. Let me get Matthew 24 and 36. We've been all up and through Matthew. But we're warning our people. We're telling them their transgressions. And ISUPK, like I said, we like that ark. And we're trying to get you in order. And we're trying to let you know that a flood is coming. A flood of pain, torture, and hell is coming. And it's not to be fearful, but it's to be prepared, like the ant. And don't be like the grasshopper, which they compared the sluggard to. Don't be like that. Because when the Son of Man comes, it's going to be like in the days of Noah. to where people are partying, having fun, getting high. There's going to be sports. It's still going to be that Roman circus of sports going on. There's still going to be, prostitutes. There's still going to be all this stuff until finally it won't be. Until finally there's thermonuclear warfare. And it'll just be dust. It'll just be fire and brimstone. Go ahead, sir.
When I was going to say that when Noah was building the ark, it had to take a lot of a strong mentality for him to keep going.
Hell yeah.
Nobody will we think nobody believes us.
Right.
Nobody believes Noah.
Come on now.
You know what I mean? Like nobody believes him. And he kept building. He kept building. You know what I mean? Because he knew what the Most High said to him. He knew that the flood was coming. And I can imagine everybody's face when that first raindrop fell. They're like, oh, this is nothing. You know what I mean? And a day go by. Then 2 days go by.
Right.
And them niggas is jumping up loud like they trying to let it in.
Right. Damn.
I'm saying, you know what I mean? I gave you a shot. You ain't take it.
Right. And it's too late to try to get your boat by then. It's too late. I try to tell brothers, and what you're saying is heavy because this scripture and these words are exactly what I was trying to use in an explanation when I was talking to him. Go ahead. All right. This is what I was trying to illustrate to a brother that, when they're saying things, when I say like, yo, it's the sign of the times, like you don't see that. Israel is bucking up and doing all this weird stuff. You don't see that there's all these extreme natural disasters to where 50,000 people were unalived in Turkey, right. To where the weather is crazy, to where there's like record-breaking highs in heat around the globe, to where systems are shutting down, to where World War III is being spoken of, to where on a grand scale that you got people. I can't remember if it was that, and it could be AI. But it seemed as if it was like a guy from Albania. He was like an Arab or something. He called the United States, Israel, and like Russia the three devils to a European country's face. And we see all these things that are happening, like prophecies coming up where river systems that were spoken about in the the script, or water systems that were spoken about in the Bible are dried up. To where friction is starting to happen with the United States' greatest ally, and it spoke about the United States. It didn't say United States, but it gave a description of what this place was, and their ally were going to be at war, and that would be unheard of. But we're starting to see friction, and we're seeing the sign of the times. You're seeing these things that Noah's telling you to come on and get it together, and you're still not getting it together. Go ahead.
It's like what you were saying. You know what I mean? Because we're prophesying to the people about World War III, right? Mm-hmm. They need to get together and come. And also with Noah, you know what I mean? Not one person but his sons helped him build the ark. Come on, man. You know what I mean? They help him build nothing. So why would you get the opportunity to be saved? So,
you ain't put your brick in.
Exactly.
You didn't put your brick in, and you didn't come here and help build. And if more people were to believe on Christ, right, and the Most High like we believed, imagine more brothers going out and prophesying. It would have, especially the truth, because you got fake Israelite groups that they may seem to have numbers, but they're not giving the truth. They're not in the spirit of brotherhood, so they're the term brothers. But imagine a whole lot of brothers telling the truth and coming in, putting a brick in. It would make it better and be even more glorious. But hey, it's fine if they don't, because what do the scriptures say? The Lord kept men reserved that wouldn't bow down to other gods like Baal. So even if it's only a small amount of us, that's fine. But the Lord is going to seal his elect. And if you don't want to help, that's fine. You can just drown with the rest while we're on the ark, figuratively speaking. You have more on that?
No, that was basically it.
That's heavy. That's heavy though. But Salaki, what was I saying? I said Matthew 24:36. Yeah, let's get that.
Yes, sir.
Because this was in ancient times, but modern times, something similar is going to happen. And we already had that sign from Jonah when Christ spoke of when he was, in the earth for 3 days. We've already had these signs. Israelites were given signs in Egypt. They were given signs all over. But what did we choose to do? Even after these signs, we chose to do what we wanted. And we ended up on slave ships. Mm-hmm. You could be on a saving ship, but we ended up in slave ships. We ended up, instead of being on Noah's Ark, figuratively speaking, to just being on slave ships and being taken to a destiny that was literal hell. So brothers and sisters should really take heed to the words that we're saying and get it together. Unless I'm the one that's not being logical, unless I'm the one that just am being crazy because I think that following the Most High is better than following the devil that has put you in the hell that you're in. Salakia.
Come. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 36. But on that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
So this is talking about when the world finally gets to see Christ coming back and cracking them clouds with chariots, which some people don't even know what the chariots look like. We saying that those are so-called UFOs that you see in the sky. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be a horse-drawn carriage floating up in the air. You're not going to see something that you saw on Disney from Cinderella, floating through the air. That's not what you're going to see. You're going to see something great and terrible that's going to strike fear in your heart if you were against the Most High. Continue.
Okay. But my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So just like when Noah was trying to tell everybody, just like in the days of Noah when people disregarded and just kept partying and didn't want to see the signs of the time. They didn't even understand what weather was coming. They didn't even understand the sign that Noah was giving them, just telling them from the Most High. That somebody should have walked past that brother's house and said, what the hell? And saw a gigantic 500-foot boat, which is as big as a cruise ship, pretty much. They should have seen that gigantic boat and then finally inquired and said, yo, this is amazing. What are you doing here? I would have hoped that I would have seen it and went, well, I'll be damned. No, let me holler at you for a second. Right? Brother, what's going on with this? Why are you building something this big? What's going on? Well, I'm trying to tell you this, that, and the fourth, yada, yada, yada. The Lord said this, that, and the fourth. And then let alone see the animals that you're bringing onto the ark, and they're not even tripping. The Most High gave you dominion to put those animals, clean and unclean, on there. Lions, tigers, bears, whatever else needed to be on there, Noah got on there through orders of the Most High. You don't see what's going on here? You don't see that the signs of the times, which I've just seen a crazy explosion happen in Yellowstone. It's just stuff happening day in and day out all over the news. And people, they can't see it. They can't see it. They know the next big show that's coming up. What you watch any TV shows? Probably. Right? There's shows like all the shows where drug dealers, where there's cocaine all throughout the United States. And yeah, power. You predict what's going to happen there, but you can't predict what's happening in your life. Come on, man. Continue, Salaki.
For 38, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage.
Y'all out here having sex. Y'all out here partying. Y'all out here with nose candy in both nostrils. Y'all out here concocting colorful gummy bears and gummy worms filled with THC. You getting high out your mind and having experiences. What's that called? With hallucinogenics. You're just doing all types of weird stuff, and all of it is contrary to the Most High. But while we're trying to warn you, you're doing this. But today the Lord is coming. Continue.
Yes, sir. For as in the days of Noah were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
Man, y'all gonna do this until the day it is too late. Y'all are gonna look up and be like, my God, what have I done to myself? Mm-hmm. Why couldn't I just wake up and smell the coffee? Why couldn't I just have listened to what Kahal said, what Captain Tazayan said? Why couldn't I just listen to what Officer Matazafa said, Officer Tazayan? Officer Kwashawan, Officer Zaraba Carr, Officer Azar Ward, Officer Thashayan. We got brothers in Delaware, Officer Bataji Ali, that are going to tell you what's right. So lucky if I forgot anybody. Who I forget? I said Bataji. Got him.
I think that's Delaware.
Yeah. We got every brother in Delaware trying to profess what the Lord is asking us to tell you, and y'all just gonna keep finally closed up. And that last animal was on there. It's too late. You gonna have to get your Michael Phelps on, figuratively speaking, and you don't have enough strength to do that. Continue.
Yes, sir. Verse 39. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then two shall be in the field.
So you're going to have one brother that's prepared and that's been doing what he's supposed to do, and one brother that's not. Let's see their faith.
Then one shall be taken and the other left.
You won't be the person that's left, right? Because you didn't follow the laws and statutes and commandments. Right. Because you have to have faith on Jesus and keep the commandments. Right. You got to be in the body of Christ. You can't be outside of that. You can't be a Buddhist / Christian. You can't be, and people are mixing these things up. People be like, oh, I'm spiritual. I don't, I'm not religious. No, you're a dummy. You're a dummy. And what's going to happen is what happened to the people as in the days of Noah. We'll continue.
I will come, sir. And the one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill. The one shall be taken and the other left.
What verse is that?
41.
41? We can continue.
I will come. Verse 42. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come.
You need to be doing things that make your election assured. And how do you do that? You follow the laws and statutes and commandments, because that's what this is about. This is about the law class. I said be prepared, but don't go stocking a whole bunch of stuff up in your freezer, in your cupboard, and then you don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You don't get in this body, because what's going to happen is you're just creating a grocery store for some strong person to come in and take from you, and for them to be fed and for you to be beat over the head. Exactly. You need the Lord on your side in these situations of what's to come. Salaki, to continue.
Yes, sir. 42. Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doeth come.
You got to be on your best behavior, because you don't know when he's going to come. You ever seen somebody that be at a job, and the time that they're not working and they goofing off, the manager walks in? That's a terrible feeling to have. Can you imagine you not doing what you're supposed to be doing? You sleeping with somebody's wife, and the Most High has Christ cracked the clouds? Oh my God. Can you imagine if you got that weed to your lips, or you got that powder in your nose, and the Most High cracks the clouds with the coming of Christ? That is going to be terrible. The weed going to fall right out your hand onto the floor like, oh, what have I done to myself? Continue.
Yes, sir. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in that watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
That's how I am around my house. That's how one time I left my and I blame myself. Even though I don't think it was my fault. But keys were left in the car, right? My son's an infant at the time, and there was a diaper bag, and my ribs keys were clipped on our diaper bag. We went in the house, long bag, tired. Somebody ran through our car and found a free ride because they had the keys in the car. It was right there. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't watching. And I had all the tools. Believe me, I had the tools to protect what was mine. And I wasn't ready for that day. I had cameras on the house. I got the other things that can stop a bear, the tools. And I was not prepared or ready, because I wasn't vigilant in that day. I'm vigilant now. I'm diligent now. I keep it to where I got to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments because I don't want to get caught up when the Most High comes. I keep it to where my doors are locked and I have protection so I can protect my family because I don't want to get robbed or something else happen. Because I know what I should be doing. And you know what you should be doing, but you're being a sluggard. You're not being prepared. You're not following the law, statutes, commandments, but you could. It's not too late. If you're alive, you got breath in your lungs still, it's not too late. The Most High has not had Christ crack the clouds yet. It's not too late. Salakia, we can drop that and we can, I'm about to press, all right, Salakia. I started playing what's and this is going to be our last 3 verses, Isaiah let me get Isaiah 31 and 1. And while you're getting that, I'm gonna just read one thing. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 1 because I want everybody to remember this. Deuteronomy 28 and 1 says, and it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Mm-hmm. This message was delivered to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans before we were ever called it, when we were Israelites, when we were the 12 tribes. Continuing, it says, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. We need to keep that in mind so we can be above all nations on the earth, because right now we're below. They get to disrespect, unalive, and make fun of us at every turn they get. Placate to us, pretend like they have our best interests at heart, when really they pity us and they make us have a foul existence. But let's get Isaiah 31, 1 through 3, because a lot of y'all are going to go vote, and it's not going to stop our beloved sister Sonia Massey from getting unalive. That's not going to stop. Voting is not going to stop. Kamala Harris will do nothing. Kamala Harris was the reason why thousands upon thousands, possibly millions of people went to jail and stayed there even after their sentences were done. Can you imagine spending 11 years in prison? You served your time. You're a whole changed man. And then Kamala Harris has it to where you don't get to get out even when your sentence is done, so prisons can make more money. Or your kids skip school, so you end up with charges and jail time, and you lose your job because of things that Kamala Harris did. Or you vote for Donald Trump, who said what he said about the what was that? The 5 brothers who were accused, the Central Park 5, or Donald Trump back in the day wouldn't even rent to Hispanics. That's who you gonna vote for? Come on, man. Y'all trust in something that is meant to destroy you. But let's read that in Isaiah 31 and 1 through 3.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 31 and verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help,
destruction and death to those who would rely on the United States. We talking about modern times. Yeah, this was written in ancient times. But the scriptures say America is spiritual Egypt, right? Right. Let's continue.
And stay on horses and trust in chariots.
You trust in the greatness of this country. And when I say greatness, I mean the sheer wealth of it, as if you get a part of it. The tanks, the jets, they'll have an air show just to show you the power, and you trust in that. Like, yeah, we're good. You'll trust and look for those of you support Israel. You'll see the Iron Dome and say, yeah, isn't technology great? Isn't the United States great? Isn't our allies great? That's what you trust in. You trust in flesh. You trust in evil men who have made modern things just seem so grand and great that you don't even trust in the Lord. Continue.
And stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel.
You don't look to the Lord, who can actually save you, who can actually have that person who would have come to your house and unalive you be unalived on the way to come get you. Y'all know the verse. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. We should have make sure that the Lord sees that through with us, but we have to obey the Lord and what he says. Not Egypt, not America. We shouldn't trust in a system that has done nothing for us just because Kamala, what's her name? I'm about to forget the woman's name. I don't believe in her so much. But just because she's a melanated, looking woman, East Indian, we will believe that she is actually going to help us. Help us do what? She literally said she's specifically not going to help Black people. We believe in Trump for what? He bleeds like any other man. He can't help us do nothing. Why are you trusting in flesh? Why are you trusting in somebody that is rallying up white supremacy? Why are you trusting in somebody who is helping white supremacy and keep brothers in jail? Kamala Harris. Continue.
So, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil. It will not call back his works, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity.
Right.
Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall fall, when the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down.
So those of you who are helping and supporting are going to fall when America falls. I pray you hear my voice when I say do not go and support. When it comes to World War III, when it comes to building up this country against your people, don't support that, because you're going to fall with it. And it's going to be a terrible sight to see, because you literally trusted in Egypt. You trusted in America instead of trusting in God. You helped build up hell for your people instead of building towards the kingdom and putting your brick in that. So don't vote. Don't help this country, because this country, it is Babylon. It is what goes against God. Every single thing that the Lord has said, this country goes against. You got men marrying men. You got children that are becoming, that are trying to become females when they were males. Damn. You have poverty. You have everything happening that shouldn't be. And this is supposed to be a great country. This is, what did Kamala Harris say? This is not a racist country. When it was founded on the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors, whether they be Blacks, Hispanics, or Native Americans. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pass the class over to the priest and officer. Let me see. They might be on the table. Get over there for you. No sweat. I'm gonna go ahead and move the camera over.
Got it. This is the ISUPK security announcement. It goes to the new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister wants to be when a new brother and sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be student only. They're here to learn and shut themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Ma'aseh, which means a tenth in Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest fund is a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory, whatever amount you would like to give. Upcode and holy convocations is the feast, is the memorial blowing of the trumpets.
I believe so. The paper is, I believe it's more of the trumpets.
Yes, come on. It's the memorial blowing of the trumpets, October 2nd. If any brother wants to be a trooper to school, he's to start wearing black boots, pants, shirt, headband, and scarf. And with that, men in Israel will say Amazon, which means to stand. Men in Israel, Amazon Shabbat, Amazon, Shabbat,
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat.
That's my thought, hands down. Sorry, turn to face the sisters. Sisters, we'll say a Majid, which means to stand. Mana Israel, Majid Shabbat, Majid Shabbat. Salam Yahal Shamar, Badon, by Shimi Al Shai. That's my touch, that's dismissed. And I say,